Hi, thanks for taking a look at my app, Big League. It's meant to score many types of playground games, wiffle ball especially, but also if you play any kind of stick ball or Indian ball or anything like that, where you have less than the normal amount of people in a baseball game. So let's start the app up. This is an iPhone simulator for iPhone 4, and but the app does also work in lots of other mobile platforms, iPad, and various Android devices, including Kindle Fire and other ones, and other Android phones. Anyway, let's take a look. So the first thing that's different about this app compared to other baseball stat apps is that you can actually change the rules, and you don't have to go by normal baseball rules. So you can set how many balls it takes to walk someone, how many strikes it takes to strike them out, and so on, which a lot of leagues that play at wiffle ball especially do. You can also, there's lots of other little rules here that you can configure. You have different ways that double plays are handled and so on. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down and keep the rules that we've got for now. And then let's look at what it takes to score a game. So first off, you're going to get to enter in what the team names and players are. In my case, I've already done this before, so it's going to suggest some teams and players for me when I start typing. It allows for 5 players per team. You can go anywhere from 1 to 5. Just fill out the amount of boxes you need. So enter another team I've put in before. Get it quickly filled out. And then this will take us to the main screen that it takes to score this. Now, the really nice thing about this app compared to other apps is it's really easy with a phone to hand it off to someone else to score, and you don't really need someone sitting off to the side just scoring your game, because you can have the person who's, as long as you have at least 2 people on a team, the person who's not batting can score the at bat for the person who is batting. So let's just do that real quick, show you what that looks like. So, you know, as pitches come in, you can say those were balls, that was a called strike, swing and miss. You do hit by pitch and wild pitch. Those don't really score any differently. They're just for stat tracking purposes, if you want to, you know, make fun of your buddy for hitting the most people or whatever. Then also, if you need to, you can click on the current pitcher to swap and put a new pitcher in, or you can click on the current batter and change the batting order, essentially. If you scroll down, there are the other options for if the ball is actually put into play. So if it's hit in the field, it's a ground ball, you're going to get a second set of options that say, okay, so it's in the field, who caught it, if it was an out, who dropped it if it was in there, if it's a single, it scores it up there. You can also, if there were people on base in this particular configuration, you could score a double play by someone, but there's no one on base right now, so those options aren't there. So I'll say this was a single. And then, so the next batter's up. There's still one out. You see a guy on base now. I'm going to go ahead and put a fly ball out there, which will open up some more options too for doubles, triples, home runs. And then, like I said, now that there's someone on base, well, in this case, this league allows sacrifice flies, or there could be a double play opportunity. And you can set up rules that say that you don't have these options, or that they do different things. We'll go ahead and let's just make this so you can see the scoring. I'll call this a double, and there'll be a guy on second and third now, since there was a guy on first previously. Alright, now let's go ahead and make another hit, and that guy on third should score from this. So you'll have guy on first and third, and a score for the Muppets here. Alright, so that's basically how you score a game. I could go through and show you as it switches sides to the other team. You'll notice that it only took 2 strikes to strike people out, because that's what the settings were. You could change that to 3 or 4, or whatever you like. Same goes for balls. That was set to 5, I believe, so it takes until I go to 5 to put them on base. But that's pretty much it for scoring a game. That's how it goes as you play. Now let's go back and show you what else you can do with the app. So one of the coolest things about scoring a game this way is not only that you don't have to have a separate scorekeeper, but it's that you don't have to take something that you've written on paper and type it into Excel or something and then push it out to a website. The data is already there. So if you go to View Game Stats, you've got a couple options here. So you've got all the individual games, which you can look at, and we'll look at one of those. You also can look at the combined stats across all the games, which is really nice. Let's start with one of the games. So here's that game I was just scoring. There's one run over here. There's only one at bat for this team, for the home team there. The away team has a few more because you saw me do that. A couple hits. So there's lots of stats in here. Oh, and I'll have to go back to the game scoring because there's one more thing I can show you. But anyway, so there's lots of stats here. You even have like the sabermetric type stats like on base plus slugging right here. But you can sort by any of these stats right inside the app just by tapping it. You can see how many strikes versus balls someone got. You can see how much they're swinging. All kind of interesting data to have. Something else that's cool that was just added is that if you click this button, it'll create an email that you can send to whoever you like, probably to yourself, with all this data so that you can then do something with it. You can copy and paste it into Excel or into your website. So I'm going to go back one screen and show you what's different about across all games. It'll basically combine the same players' names, so you can see that these players have played 4 games, and you can sort by player, who's batting the best and who's pitching the best. In this case, it's mostly showing stats about how people are hitting against them, which I think pretty much says how good the pitcher is. And also, you can email these stats. I can't show you that. I wish I could, but this simulator does not do that. So I'll go back. Like I said, there was one last thing I wanted to show you, and that's when you're in scoring a game. If you're in a tablet, or if you're in an iPhone or other phone that is rotated horizontally, this top area actually shows a little bit differently and shows some end game stats. So I'm going to use my simulator and rotate this, but I don't think it's going to record just right, so it might look a little funny, but you should get the idea. So rotate it, and now you have a table of stats up here where it shows Dustin's at bat. You've got this many hits so far, and at bats and RBIs. And then the pitcher also, you might not be able to see this, but has how many hits they've given up, how many walks, how many strikeouts, how many runs. And that's basically it. Thanks for watching.